Hi, my name's Dane Stickney. I'm ARNA's treasurer and I'm co-chair of the 2024 conference. We are so excited to have Julio Cammarota be our keynote this year. He's a notable YPAR scholar, an ethnic studies scholar, with everything working towards social justice. His keynote is titled Par Entre Mundos. I was able to talk to him for a few minutes, and I'm happy to share some of the highlights of that conversation.
In between worlds. So
Oh,
it's par in between worlds. We're drawing a lot of our development of participatory action research from Chicana feminist scholar Gloria Anzaldúa, and she talks about how the space in between worlds. Say you're talking about the colonial world and the decolonized world, or the colonial world and the indigenous world. Sometimes we're sort of braced in between. We're braced or connected to those both of those worlds, but the space of creativity is in between them, is
mm,
in between both those two worlds, right? That's where you can draw from each world and draw the best from each world and sort of create something new. Par Entre Mundos is drawing from different worlds, whether it's social sciences, humanities, whether it's the institution, whether it's the community, whether it's people's funds of knowledge, whether it's institutional knowledge. We're always drawing from different worlds. But the beauty of Par Entre Mundos is that we can draw from these different worlds and create something new in the in-between spaces. We pose, like, what is it that we do when we do participatory action research in Latinx communities? How would we theorize it? How would we explain what we would do? So we came up with a list of different we can call them pillars or principles. Yeah, they're most likely principles. They're in the book. I'm not going to go over each one of them, but there's stuff in there like uh, indigenous cosmologies. There's praxis is also in there as a pillar. The most interesting one is power within. So looking at, like, not only the power that we have agents as par researchers, but also the power dynamics within the group itself. So uh, I think that's an interesting sort of idea that we incorporated in doing this work. It's like, this work is not only about, addressing social justice issues within communities, but also it's about us too. It's about reflecting upon who we are and what are our own social justice principles, and what are our own uses and misuses of power that are important to reflect upon as par researchers. This is a real sort of Freirean approach, and this is a part of what I will bring when I give my keynote, is that, Freire always talks about uh, this idea of reflection and action, this praxis, but the uh, reflection should focus on your own subjective position,
mm.
meaning how you perceive the world and how you perceive yourself in the world. So that reflection is not only a reflection on the world, but a reflection on yourself as well. So my contribution really to that book and to our thinking around Par Entre Mundos is around praxis. I come from a very strong Freirean background. Studied and researched and applied a lot of Freirean ideas, particularly praxis, and sort of, I had a kind of dumb aha moment. But I sort of, like, was trying to understand what was participatory action research. This is a long time ago. This is when I first started to work, maybe over 20 years ago. I was trying to say, what is participatory action research? how do you theorize it? And then I'm thinking, then I'm just going back to Paulo Freire and all this writing about praxis, and I'm thinking that's what PAR is. That's what participatory action research is. It's praxis, right? It's an application of praxis. So that's my real contribution to this Par Entre Mundos. I talk about I'm not going to get into the talk, but I talk about uh, four different praxises that we use as foundational for this Par Entre Mundos. And the four praxises are Freirean praxis, critical race praxis, um, feminist, particularly feminists of color praxis, and then indigenous praxis. The bulk of my talk is going to be talking about these praxis and how we apply them and what are we pulling from it? What are we drawing from it? You know, what's the importance of these different praxis? So yeah, that's in a nutshell, that's sort of what I will be talking about, my sort of entry point into Par Entre Mundos. You know, there are different trajectories around participatory action research or action research, right? There are different trajectories. There's different ways that you can connect to the roots or the lineage, right? It's not just saying that the global south is just one way that you can connect into participatory action research. So we prefer to do that uh, because the work that started from the global south, from Paulo Freire to Fals Borda to Martin Barro to even Augusto Boal, right? Boal, if you want to include him in the sort of pantheon. Uh, so the idea is that a lot of that work is embedded in social justice. That's how we see, that's why we connect to the global south as a lineage, as a trajectory for us doing the work in the global north, right? So we connect our lineage to the global south because of this emphasis on social justice. It's this emphasis on not only researching with communities, but researching with communities to address oppression, right? To address various forms of oppression. So that's why we connect to the global south.
Thanks so much for watching. Hopefully you're as excited for the 2024 conference as I am. I can't wait to see Julio's keynote and interact with him in Ypsilanti. For more information about the conference, please visit the ARNA website. We have information about the conference registration and other details there. Thanks so much.